This is Doug Coyle of DJ Coyle Rugby. I'm here with Tal Bayer, head coach of Wheeling Jesuit. Tal, you've been a very successful coach of Pride in Washington, D.C. I believe you spent 14 years there?
Yep.
Something like that?
Started at the school in 1999 and left in 2013.
What motivated you to make the change to Wheeling last year?
Well, 2 years ago.
Jesuit,
I've been thinking about it. I wanted to pursue a master's degree. I was interested in coaching at the college level, and it just ended up being a great opportunity to get a great graduate degree in educational leadership, and an opportunity to get involved coaching at the college level. Plus, I was hoping to get some of my players from the high school program I was with to come on board with us at Wheeling Jesuit, and it actually worked out well because now we have 3 right now.
Wheeling Jesuit's a varsity program. What do you see the differences coaching a varsity program versus working with a club program?
It depends on the club, but I would say specific to us, probably the biggest difference is the administrative support, the athletic department support, the university support, and that comes in the form of facilities access, academic resource center access, athletic trainer access for rehab, prehab, strength and conditioning room access, graduate assistance, coaching, scholarships, and access to the university bus, which certainly helps us save quite a bit of money when we have to take these trips.
Wheeling Jesuit is part of the D1A Rugby East Conference.
Yep.
Highly competitive conference. You're ranked
Absolutely
in the top 10 nationally. What are some of your program goals at this point, and how do they include player development?
Well, I would say in terms of goals, I start first and foremost is helping to connect the Jesuit values of the university with the rugby program. I came from a character education school. It was infused in what we did, and I think it was one of the things that made our rugby program strong. So basically the Jesuit values and ideals are very similar, and so that's probably first and foremost. Second, I would say to build a rugby powerhouse here on the East of players from all over the country, and if they want to come from all over the world, that's great too. And we certainly have players from a lot of interesting countries. I think we have 11 countries represented on the team, and essentially create somewhere that kids come for a great education and a great rugby experience, and hopefully we put a few onto the national level that will make a difference for USA Rugby at the men's Eagles level. And who knows, maybe one day the women's Eagles, if we get a women's program up at any time soon.
Having players from other countries certainly presents some challenges for you as a coach and for the university.
Yep.
There's adjustments in having
Absolutely.
them move, and I think we've seen some of the best programs have really created a family type of atmosphere for them. Can you talk a little bit about some of the adjustments that they make?
Well,
and can you also talk about some of your key players on your team?
Well, definitely. I would say absolutely on the adjustments, not just cultural, but weather. I mean, just to give you some examples, we don't have a lot of players from rugby powerhouse nations. What we have are a lot of very good players from typically overlooked rugby countries. So we have kids from Trinidad, Sri Lanka, Congo, Colombia. You have some Canada, some England, Argentina. Looking down my team here to see where all we do have an Aussie. We have some Fijians, English. So it's a pretty varied group. But in terms of the culture, it's actually nice because I think if we ended up with a large block of a particular group, what we would find would be a clique of players existing within the team, because everybody is so diverse, not just 11 countries, but 16 states. We don't really have that clique. Everybody's part of the same team. I'd say the only challenge we have is just making sure our freshmen integrate with our upperclassmen, and we don't have that much of a divide. And that's actually why we brought our entire squad tonight, from the freshmen all the way up to the seniors, and they'll be playing tomorrow when we're down at Loyola. So I'm all for diversity, and that's one of the big things I want to see with this program, is exposing these kids not just to varying styles of rugby, but varying styles of players and cultures and experiences. And I love stories. I'll give you one example of the cultural adjustment. We have the young man from named Duminda. I have trouble pronouncing his last name, but he came from Sri Lanka, and I picked him up in January at the airport, and he'd never really been in temperature below maybe 80, 85 degrees, and this is January in Pittsburgh, and he got off the plane in a t-shirt and jeans, and I swear he didn't stop shivering for like maybe 3 or 4 weeks. And then, of course, the airline lost his luggage, so we had to go around the team and find sweatshirts and warm clothing for him to get by until his luggage was delivered. So that's a perfect example of the weather adjustment. As far as the cultural adjustment, overall, the guys are really good about sort of teaching kind of how things work in this country. Even coming here today, we had an issue. Our player from Sri Lanka thought, because he wasn't playing tonight, he was playing tomorrow in Baltimore. For some reason in his mind, he assumed we were coming back to Wheeling for the night to turn around and go back in the morning to Baltimore for our game at Loyola. He didn't understand that that's a 6-hour trip, that we were going really far, even though we made it clear and everyone else on the team. But you know, for him, he's only been here for 2 months and didn't really understand that. So, learning moment.
Who are some of your key players?
Key players. I'd say front row, Max Lum will be an impact sub tonight. Max spent roughly a year in New Zealand. Actually, Dan Carter's return game, Max was a prop in that game. I'd say Cecil Rich, former high school All-American, kind of in the U20 pool as a possible. Our captain, absolutely, Zach Reichenbach, everybody calls him Red. He's got a huge red beard. He just played last weekend for the USA versus Canada in Rugby League in, I think it was played in, is it Florida or Philly? I can't remember the location. But those would be outstanding folks. And then I'd say in our back line, there's a freshman kid I think is going to really make an impact. He's actually one of my former players. We're starting him tonight at fullback, Aaron Gray. He played Atlanta Sevens with Pride. He's also played with the Exiles, and just got an invite out to the U20 camp. So he will be one to watch. All the other guys are sort of secrets, so I don't want to mention too many others, but that would be the best
ones. I know one of your
ones.
Secrets is not here tonight.
Yeah.
He's in Florida playing for the USA Falcons.
Yeah, Peter Malcolm, absolutely. Pete is just an athletic specimen, a fierce rugby player, fierce competitor. And actually we have another player in Florida who's playing for Ohio Elite. So our starting fly half tonight got called up a day ago, and so we had to make a change on a day's notice. Alan Hansen's his name, and he headed down to Florida. He's playing in the tournament. They're in opposite pools from Pete, but hopefully they'll get a chance to play each other.
I believe he's playing for Tiger, isn't he?
Well, they're called Ohio Elite.
Ohio,
yeah. It's still Paul
Ohio,
Holmes.
Yes.
Paul Holmes' crew, though.
Paul Holmes' crew.
Yeah.
Last question.
Yeah.
What are you looking for in prospective rugby players for Wheeling Jesuit, and why should players consider that school?
Well, I think in terms of what we're looking for, I would say first and foremost, good people. And I mean that, again, from that whole character perspective. We don't need great rugby players that take a lot of managing. We want people that people want to be around and that are genuinely liked. I would say also strong students that are prepared for work. It's a Jesuit education, so it's a challenge. So kids that can handle the academic course loads. And then also, what we do, it can be a grind. We do rugby 6-7 days a week. We try to keep it fun, but there are days where you just don't feel like getting out of bed. We start at 6:15 in the morning. Pretty much every day, and so between practice and then an evening lift session, the fun side of rugby can sometimes be lost, but we always try to bring us back to it. But players that can handle that kind of demand over the course of a year, so that's really what we look for.
I want to thank you for spending time with me. Good luck with the season, good luck in developing your program, and good luck tonight with Delaware.
Thank you so much.